Nobody warned you about the noise. You moved to Los Angeles for the sunlight. You see the postcard version in your head, the palm trees standing still against a blue sky. The slow motion drives down the PCH, a place where time is supposed to stretch out and let you breathe. But then, maybe 6 months in, you're sitting in your car on Wilshire Boulevard. It's a Tuesday. You're surrounded by cranes that weren't there a month ago. The air is thick with construction dust. And the billboard you used to use as a landmark is gone, replaced by an ad for something you don't even understand. And in that moment, you feel it. A strange, quiet panic in your chest. A feeling that if you don't move, if you don't update yourself right this second, the ground underneath you is going to move without you. You tell yourself it's just anxiety. You tell yourself you're just tired. But what if I told you that feeling isn't in your head? What if the Los Angeles you thought you were moving to is already dead? We are living through a moment where this city isn't just evolving. It is currently performing a violent, physical, hard reset. From the software engineers rewriting Hollywood's code in Venice to the construction crews tearing up the streets for 2028, Los Angeles is deleting its old self to build a new version of reality. And you are living in the construction zone. Welcome to the Hidden Why, where your curiosity finds its answers. Today, we're going to tear apart the engine of this city to find out why Los Angeles refuses to stand still. Why 2025 feels so specifically unstable, and what that constant state of rebirth is actually doing to your brain. To understand why this city feels like a different planet every January 1st, we have to look at the human fuel that powers it. I'll be honest, I fell for the myth too. The Hollywood dream. It's the oldest story in the book, right? But it's not just a story. It's a biological clock that dictates the rhythm of the streets. Every single morning, thousands of people get off planes at LAX or drive in on the I-10 with a suitcase full of hope. They bring new energy, new hunger, and a desperate need to be seen. But here's the part we rarely talk about. For every person arriving with a dream, someone else is quietly packing up a U-Haul in the middle of the night. Exhausted, leaving because the city chewed them up. This creates a population that is permanently transient. It's a constant churn. You make friends, and 6 months later, they move to Nashville or Austin because LA was too much. You find a community, and it dissolves before you can get comfortable. This constant flow of people means there is no standard culture here. The culture is simply whatever the newest, loudest group of people brought with them in their luggage. And because the people change, the city's memory is short. Very short. Geography plays a role here too. Los Angeles isn't one city. It's a collection of islands: Silver Lake, Venice, West Hollywood, Culver City, separated by oceans of concrete and traffic. Each of these islands acts like a petri dish. A subculture grows in isolation in Echo Park, bubbling up in coffee shops and backyards, and then it spills over, merging and clashing with what's happening in Santa Monica. But that's just the surface level. That's the LA of 5 years ago. The mechanism underneath right now is far more aggressive. The real reason LA feels like it's glitching is because its two biggest engines, entertainment and tech, just collided head-on. For decades, the pulse of this city was the industry. The industry with a capital I. You knew the rules. You write a script. You get an agent. You get a break. But if you walk into a coffee shop in Los Feliz today, the tension in the room has shifted. It's quieter. It's scarier. It's no longer just about getting an audition. It's about the machine learning to do the job. We are standing at ground zero of a collision between art and algorithms. The tech crowd didn't just move to Silicon Beach to surf. They are rewriting the operating system of creativity. This creates a vibrating anxiety in the air, a collective subconscious fear that the definition of talent is being updated while we sleep. And while the software is changing, the hardware is being ripped out. Look out the window. Really look at the streets, the road closures, the endless detour signs, the stadiums rising out of the ground. This isn't random maintenance. Los Angeles is currently in a frantic sprint to reinvent itself for the global stage in 2028. We are living in a construction site for a party that is still 3 years away. This creates a landscape that feels temporary. Nothing feels settled because, physically, nothing is settled. You can't find your footing because the sidewalk itself is being repaved. So, how does this impact you? What does living in a city that deletes itself annually do to a human mind? It creates a distinct kind of exhaustion. A relevance fatigue. You see it in the way we relax. Have you noticed how the status symbols have shifted? A few years ago, it was about which club you could get into, which table you had. Now, the ultimate flex in LA is longevity. The city has traded martinis for matcha and biohacking clinics. We are obsessed with optimizing ourselves. Ice baths, infrared saunas, sober curious meetups. Why? I think it's about control. When the city feels chaotic, when the industry feels unstable, and when the future feels like a question mark, the only thing you have left to govern is your own biology. We try to make ourselves future-proof, because deep down, we are terrified of becoming obsolete. Social media acts as the accelerant here. It pours gasoline on the fire. Trends that used to take years to permeate a city now sweep through Los Angeles in days. A specific restaurant, a specific aesthetic, a specific way of dressing, it burns hot and bright on your feed. And then, poof, it's gone. If you blink, you're culturally left behind. This forces you to live in a state of perpetual now. There is no past to rest on. There is only the current version of the software. But here's the twist. The strange, uncomfortable truth that we rarely admit to ourselves. We complain about it. We talk about leaving. We say we hate the traffic, the flakiness, the fact that our favorite dive bar is now a luxury condo complex. But we stay. Why do we do it? Why do we subject ourselves to a city that demands we constantly update our internal identity just to exist? Because in a world that feels increasingly stuck, Los Angeles promises the one thing we crave most, the permission to start over. The annual shift isn't a bug. It's the main feature. Think about it. In a city with deep traditions like London or Rome, there is a weight to history. You are defined by what came before. But here, the history is being paved over. The city resets so that you can reset. If the city never stays the same, then you never have to be defined by who you were last year. You can be a waiter in 2024, a writer in 2025, and a tech founder in 2026. The city won't judge you for changing, because the city is changing faster than you are. It's exhausting. Yes. It makes you feel like you're standing on shifting sand. But it also makes you feel alive in a way that static places don't. There is a heavy tax to pay for living in the future. You lose the comfort of familiarity. You lose the stability of knowing that the corner store will always be the corner store. You lose the peace of silence. But in exchange, you get a front row seat to the draft version of tomorrow. So, the next time you're stuck in traffic on the 405, staring at a skyline that looks different than it did a month ago, feeling that tiny knot of anxiety in your stomach, take a breath. Don't fight the shift. realize that this chaos, the noise, the construction, the AI panic, the wellness obsession, it's all just the sound of the engine running. Los Angeles isn't trying to find its identity. It's trying to show you that identity is fluid, that you are not a finished product, and maybe, just maybe, the reason LA feels like a different city every year is because every year it's waiting for you to become a different person. If you start paying attention, you'll see this pattern everywhere, not just in the city, but in yourself. And once you see it, you can stop running from it and start riding the wave.